So God said, let there be light. So God made light out of something the size of a marble. That was the Big Bang. Explosions and comets and planets and solar systems spinning and galaxies emerging. Planet Earth was created. Then came brimstone, fire, ice, rain for 1,000,000 years and made the oceans. Then God said, fuck it, let's put some fucking dinosaurs down there and see what the fuck they do. So then there was dinosaurs, and they ate each other, and roar, and they fought each other, and the Stegosaurus and Brontosaurus and everything. And then God said, fuck, I'm bored of this shit. Let's send down a fucking comet. Let's blow this shit up. So God sent down a comet, just boom. And then there was minimal life on Earth. And then there were ice ages, and more brimstone and fire, and another 1,000,000 years of rain that created the oceans. And then God said, fuck, I got an idea. Let's have some weird shit crawl out of the ocean, grow limbs, and start walking upright. And then fast forward millions of years, you have early man, Cro-Magnon. And then it's us. Here we are. Don't be afraid. We're here to comfort you. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I didn't mean to scare everybody. That's scary. I've been reading Revelations too much, man. This shit's got me shook up, bro. You guys paying attention to all that rap beef? I'm paying attention to the beef between Jesus and the devil, man. Shit'll really affect your soul, bro. Do you really know where you're gonna go when you go? If you know what I'm saying? Bro, better pray. Correct those demons, man. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I was kidding. Remember Scarface? I was only kidding. Chill on me in the morning. Take a cuelo. I was only kidding. Yeah, boy. If you listen to the crack that beer, bro, we're fucking doing it. Hey, Kyle, you got the beer pong set up? Because after this, we're going to go nuts. We got Smatty coming over, DJ CJ. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, again, doing this and sitting in this chair every week, I feel a multitude of ways. I feel different ways. I feel different feelings. And tonight, I'm feeling pretty fucking good. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's all the microdosing I've been doing. And they call it microdose, but I think I've been... macro, I don't know what it's called, but yeah, and then it's been, I've been babysitting all these ducks and fucking doing all this weird shit, and it's just really got my mojo going. But the last episode, I just felt so fucking weird, and if you listen to it, I say it a bit through the episode, not in like a whiny, complainy way, not like Trump in court, like, oh, it's so cold in there every day. Like, oh, bitch, just fucking put on another jacket, you fat fuck. I feel different every time I come here, but what doesn't change is me snooting. I always do my snoot, so I'm sorry, excuse me, and forgive me. Baby, I'm in your ear, please. Baby, come on. Like, baby, give me a kiss. But here we are. And there you are, driving in your car. Listen to the show. Here we go. So, welcome. I hate to say it. Bop. Excuse me. Bop. Remember that? Hanson's Bop. So, we're on the show, and we're in the studio. And you know what we do to you. Sue Studio, Phil Collins. And, yeah, back for another episode of FA Radio. And today, I just so happen to have another human being in here besides Mr. Sage Caswell, the engineer, and Mr. Kyle. We have my dear friend, my young friend, Mr. Blake Doyle. Blake Doyle, who was my
assistant. Believe it or not, a goofball like me needed a goddamn assistant, but I did. Shit got hectic for a bit, and I needed an assistant. And originally, Blake was Greg Hunt's assistant, and worked on a book with Greg, and then slowly but surely after that, you came to my house in Ventura. What year was that?
It wasn't Ventura, it was the Rosewood.
Oh, you came to the Rosewood place. So what was that, 2017 or 18?
18.
Right.
I think 18. Because you texted me, and then I called you, and I was like, what are you doing today? You said nothing. I just have, like, dinner later. So I think we went to, like, what is it, like, Froma? Is this?
Right, that little cafe.
Then I went to your house.
Hey, Kyle, turn down the fan.
Yes.
Put it to the lowest setting. And then you came to the house, and we talked.
Talked for a long time, and then you gave me all of your negatives in a box.
Yeah, I
and
gave you.
sealed it with stickers.
I gave you all my photo negatives because I did such a good job. I did such a, quite the opposite. I did such a bad job of taking care of my archive of photos and negatives. And Blake is a very responsible young man, and I knew that, you know, from his work that he did with Greg and whatnot, I knew that he'd be able to, he'd be the man for the job. And that was the first thing of doing the photos and getting them all onto a drive for me to look at for the to then make the book, the Prince Street book.
We organized them and then got them scanned. Then you edited them down. Mm-hmm. And then one thing led to the next, and then the book was made.
That was such an interesting thing for me to, because I'm such a layman. I'm so untech, as you know, over these last 6 years of hanging out with my dumb ass and traveling around the country. Because you know me. So I did an interview on Friday night, and it was on camera. So Sage Caswell, the engineer here, he put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I can't get it off. So it's been on Do Not Disturb. No, it's fine. It was fine, but I don't know how to get it off. So totally. So I'm technically inept.
You like it.
I'm just technically.
You like not getting the notification.
But I'm just technically inept, and I don't know much about that stuff. But anywho, so Blake did all that, and then you put the photos on my computer, and it was so strange to see my photos from 1995 all the way up to 2018. And it was quasi time traveling.
It was like
because I could just go boom back to this period and then boom forward, and it was just going back and forth, and it just and there's nothing like having, you know, you could see your photos that you take, which I only saw by processing them, like at Luster on Avenue A or at Sammy's or whatever, and you see your photos and you think, oh, this one's good. But when you see it, once they're scanned through the computer, it turns into a whole different thing, and you're just like, and you're not blowing smoke up your own ass. You're seeing what you see, and you're seeing the different gradient of colors and the whatnot, and the way shit looks. Where you're just like, damn, I didn't even think the photo's that good, and now I'm seeing it like this. So that was the beginning of doing the Prince Street book, and I thought that book came out fucking pretty damn good, and I'm not fishing, so don't tell me it came out good, Blake. But I appreciate you. That's why I put you in the thank yous of the book. But that's just the beginning of our journey.
Yes.
And then when we were just about to open the.
Well, before that.
Before that, what?
I was looking for books.
Well, yeah, that's boring.
Okay.
So we were about to open and we done little trips did we do San Simeon and stuff before New York, or was it after?
I stayed in Pasadena a few nights. I think that was it. And then drove to New York.
So when we were opening the FA store in New York, I asked Blake, I said, and Blake is a photographer, and what are you now, 26, 27?
I'm 28.
You're 28 now?
Shit.
Fucking hell. Mm-hmm. So.
Maybe I was 22.
When I met you, you were.
22.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. So I said to Blake, I said, hey, look, we're opening a store in New York. What do you think you and me, and we're in Los Angeles. I said, what do you think you and me take 2 weeks, as long as it takes, as long as we get there early enough for like the first few days before the store opens. What do you think you and me drive cross country, and you know, I'll get your own hotel room. I'll take you to fancy dinner every night, and we'll stay at weird places and go to weird places and go to museums and go to national parks and do weird shit. And we did. We fucking did it. And you said, yeah, totally. And so we left my house and we did it, and it took about a little over 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and we went to New York, and that trip was great. It was fucking epic. Like, we went to national parks and museums and it was just fucking bizarre. It was great. I love a road trip, and we'll get back to this, but you know how the show goes. You know, we open up with some jams, and then we talk for a second, and then I go into playing more music, because that's the show. But let me tell you this. Give me a minute here. Let me tell you this. I think I've been playing really good music for the past at least 4 shows. It's been very original, and I'm not patting myself on the back. You know, I'm clapping for my own ears and your ears. All right, so. But this show is not going to be so much as what is some weirdo ass shit I can find that you probably haven't heard. It's kind of a mixture of that, but it's more. This show's like about a road trip. It's about going on a road trip and the songs you hear on a road trip. When you're on the road with your friends, having fun, you're not thinking of like, oh, I bet they haven't heard the latest from DJ Scrappy X. You know, you don't fucking throw that wrench into the party. You know, this ain't Skrillex. It's about having fun and being on the road. So let's play songs that you would play on the road, like looking at mountains and rivers and shit, like all the shit we saw, the mountains and the rivers and all this great shit and all the shit I fucking like, and driving by, and poor Blake's driving, I'm like, I saw another bald eagle. You know, and poor Blake didn't get to see it because he's driving 75 miles an hour. Huh?
Or the hawks. There's always a hawk.
Always hawks. It's just so beautiful. Driving across America, yeah, there's a lot of shit going on. Shit's fucked up, but driving across America, holy shit, there's so much beautiful shit. And Blake had never done it before. Blake had never driven all the way across the country. I like what you're doing over there, Kyle. Looks fucking fantastic. So, here we go. Thank you for listening to the show.
Never doubting, always faithful, she returned. She said she loves me, and I could always come to her. She can't imagine how another lover could have made her turn. And I'm so grateful that I'm still willing to have her home. And I'm so grateful that I'm still willing to have her home. Says she loves me, she won't forget me, then she's gone. She thinks that later we could pick up the pieces and carry on. her, still not suspecting she could be wrong. Now I'm so grateful I'm no longer willing to have her home. Now I'm so grateful I'm no longer willing to have her home.
There's a highway telling me to go where I can. Such a long way, I don't even know where I am. Such a long way, long, long way. Gonna sit right to where I am, and it's easier to stay here. Think I know my way here. I'm gonna lay here all right. Tomorrow I'm gonna hang my feet in a stream. Pretending my world is real, yours a dream. And the highways, highway, I'm gonna sit right here where I am, and it's easier to stay here. Think I know my way here. I'm gonna lay here all right. Taking time now, city life ain't my cup of tea. And it's fine now, some take it like goes to the sea. Needing highways, highway. I'm gonna sit right here where I am, and it's easier to stay here. Think I know my way here. I'm gonna lay here, gonna sit here writing a song. Every time one comes along, I'm alright. Gotta be alright now. Gotta be alright. Gotta be alright.
your brain, it's time to go. You don't have long to go. Remember me, remember me. 'Cause I'm the one who made you see. Remember me. Hang your brain up in the sky. Hang it up, hang it high. Remember me, remember me. 'Cause I'm the one who made you see. Remember me. Take your brain, it's time to go. You don't have long to go. Remember me, remember me. 'Cause I'm the one made you see. Remember me. Take your brain, it's time to go. You don't have long, you know. Remember me, remember me. 'Cause I'm the one made you see. Remember me.
Remember me. I know that last song sound like a Budweiser commercial, but I like that song. I like that song. That was Brain by The Action. And we had a bunch of songs before that were topical to road trips. Jeez, it's fun. There's nothing like driving across America. I've driven across huge sections of Africa and Australia, which are epic in their ways as well, and driven across New Zealand, driven across Japan, but there is really something about driving across this fucking fabled psycho country that is just incredible. And when we did the thing where I think we started out in South Utah, right? And
Yeah,
then
I think we went to Provo.
We went to Provo.
Provo was
You
day
got to
one.
visit Provo, and then we went to Provo, and we went to that restaurant that I don't remember the name, but I remember the waiter's name was Devin,
Yeah.
and he was super cool, and he was like a skate dude,
Mhm.
and they had really good art on the wall. And so Provo is a fucked up, strange little enclave of Utah that it's not a city. It's so bizarre. Like, there's a couple buildings in the downtown area,
There's just a few hotels.
and then we had the hotel right down the street, and I looked up, and it was something Provisions or something like that, the restaurant.
Yeah, professional commune. I talked to someone recently from Utah, and they knew it.
Right,
I
but
forget the name.
but Devin, if you're hearing this, thank you so much.
Thank you, Devin.
And yeah, and I'd gone like months without drinking any wine, and that was my first night drinking wine. I was so psyched, like,
Yeah, you're saying.
Devin, get us a bottle, bro. But Devin was so cool, man. He was a really nice kid. And then, yeah, for people that don't know, southern Utah is beautiful. It's fucking gorgeous. It's crazy. But yeah, so there we are on our way to New York City, and we're in South Utah, and then we were going to go north to hit Highway 70 and take that pretty much the whole way.
I think. Well, we went to that. Did we go to the waterfall then? in Provo or
Oh, so yeah,
Salt
we
Lake
went
City kind of zone?
the waterfalls between well, Provo's kind of far from Salt Lake, not far, but that was
You go north
just
a little more or
above
something?
Bridal Veil's Fall.
Yeah, went there, and then we crossed to Colorado to Colorado Springs. Is that it?
No, we went to where Atiba and Akko are from. We went to
No, we didn't go there yet. That was
no,
on the way
it's
back.
next door. We went there on the way and the way back.
Oh, really?
Hmm. We're giving away the second part of the story, but whatever. So, they're from Manitoba Springs. So I'd never been there, and Manitoba Springs is this magical little town.
Manitou.
Manitou Springs. No, Manitou Springs. I was texting with Atiba when we were getting close to Colorado Springs, and I said, should I stay in Colorado Springs or should I go to that place that you're from? He goes, you got to go to Manitou. Manitou is the strangest little town.
And we didn't.
We did.
Nuh-uh. It was the way back,
Because we
and then the
but
other
we stayed.
trip.
Then how do we know about the Cliff House? Because we stayed at the Cliff,
We stayed
Cliff
at
House.
the, oh, no, when we
We
drove
stayed at the Cliff
back.
House the first time.
Uh-uh.
Yes, we did, because on the way
Nuh-uh.
back, where did we stay?
We stayed at the Cliff House, but the second time we went to the Cliff House when we drove from Atlanta back.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay,
That's
you're
it.
right. I was
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
wrong. You're
Because
right.
we went
Blake.
through, we ended in Colorado. I left you. You went to go hang out with Walt on.
Yeah, I went to go
second
see
trip.
Walt Poirier of
Yeah.
Lakota Sioux.
So we went to Colorado Springs, I think. Maybe.
Right. But anywho, so from there, we made our way up to the 70. This is going to New York from LA. We made our way up to the 70. And we really just took a whole 2 weeks to just, again, go to museums and national parks and just see weird shit. And it took Blake like at least, and you were being very courteous, but I finally said, you do not have to ask me to pull over and take a photo of something. Just fucking
Oh,
do
yeah.
just do it.
Yeah, it took
just
a while.
fucking just.
But then we took the photo every day of us. That was really
Well, that was
the
your
main-
plan, was to take a photo in the car, on the dashboard every day of the trip, fisheye photo of us, and we'll be sure to make sure that you go through your photos and get it to us so we can show them on this episode.
Yeah.
And just go through the photos and just find a bunch of photos you like
I
from the
still
thing.
have the book. Do you have the book? Did you lose it?
Of
in
course, I have the
transit?
book.
Yeah.
I gave away all my possessions, but I kept the little book.
You kept that book?
Yeah.
I
And then
thought it was
remember we
cool.
came across that church, and I took some photos of you in front of that burnt down church. I forget
Yeah.
where we were. It's like Michigan or
I
something.
don't remember where that was. No,
But man, lots of good restaurants. So this place, the Cliff House, is in Manitou Springs, Colorado, and it's like 150 years old, and it's where like trappers used to go through there, and it was like prostitutes and trappers and like old timey like gunslingers and shit.
And it burned down in the 80s.
And it burned down in the 80s because that
Yeah.
businessman came from New York to do some deal, and he got fucked up in town, and then he fell asleep with a cigarette, and he burnt down half the building.
Really?
But then, yeah, 'cause remember there's the
I
pictures.
remember the photos of
Yeah.
like the firefighters and
Yeah.
because it's a huge,
But remember
really
we
fancy building.
we became friendly with that woman who worked there, and she told us the story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But this place, the Cliff House, it's one of these old-timey hotels in America that's absolutely incredible. It's just like, it's so epic. In the restaurant, remember us having the fancy dinner in the restaurant? It was so good. And that's where I drew that picture of both of us.
And I have
in
a
the
photo
car.
of you there.
Right.
sitting in the restaurant.
Right. And then on another trip, Blake met me in Atlanta, and this is why I love Blake. Not the only
There's
reason.
a lot of trips.
There's a lot of trips. So,
There's like 4 or 5.
excuse me, but
5.
I kind of, not bragging, but I kind of fly by the seat of my pants. Like
Yeah.
I don't make plans very well. I just kind of do things. And so I went to Atlanta because all the boys were on a trip, like Louie and Burl and Ave and shit. There was a bunch of people on that trip, and I went to Atlanta to hang out and be with the boys, and I stayed at my friend Bobby has a house on a lake in Atlanta, and he was leaving for a week, And he's like, fuck it, just stay in my house. So I was feeding deer and shit. Remember I was sending those videos feeding the deer?
Yeah.
I was feeding deer and hanging out in nature and swimming in the lake. It was great. And going on big walks in the rain. It was rad. And then it was time to leave. I went to the Atlanta airport. And I got there and it just felt funny. I just didn't want to fly that day. And I already bought my flight and whatnot. And I called Blake, who was now living in New York. Which not to pat myself on the back, but I was always a big advocate because you brought it up saying I want to live in New York.
You're a big advocate.
And I always said young people at some point in their life should live in New York and give their whole deal to living in New York and seeing what it can do for you and seeing, you know, what comes of it. And now you love it and you're there and you're super into it.
I've been there for 2 years.
Which I love that. So Blake's living in New York, and this is a while after our big ride to New York and back, which we'll probably tell the story in a bit of coming back from New York. But I was at the Atlanta airport, and I just thought, I'm going to call Blake and see what the fuck he's doing. So I called Blake, and I said, do you think you can be here in 3 days and maybe drive me, like, kind of back to California? And he said, yeah, totally fine. And so I got Blake a flight. Blake came to Atlanta. I was staying on the outskirts of Atlanta, and then boom, we got in the car and we started going to, as we do, going to used bookstores and digging and searching for stuff to make collages out of and whatnot. And we got all the way to about Colorado. You dropped me off. I went hang out with Walt, and then you flew home, which was great. But I'll tell you this. Originally, to go to New York for us to open the store. What was it, 2 years ago?
It was 2.5.
Right. So
it was in, I think, October, but like 2 years and then back to October.
Right.
Whatever year that is.
So originally, I made the deal with Blake. Like, look, flat, you weren't living in New York yet, so
No.
you were here. So I said, we're gonna go to New York. I'll buy you a fancy dinner every night, pay for all your meals, get your own hotel room. We'll stay at fancy hotels, and we'll do the deal. And we'll cross country, looking at shit, taking pictures, doing whatever we need to do. Take our time getting there. So we get to New York, and you hang out because you got friends living in New York.
I stayed 2 weeks.
Yeah, and so then I'm back in New York, back in my element, super happy and hanging out with friends and doing all this shit, and it was great. And the store opens, and it was rad. We had the opening and all this stuff. And then the 2 weeks goes by pretty fast, and then Blake's got to go back. So I stay in New York for 2 months, and right before the end of it, I call Blake, who's back in California, and I say, hey, no pressure, up to you. But what do you think if I fly you back to New York and we drive back to LA? And Blake was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And we did, and we went back, and I feel like the trip back was even better than the trip on the way.
Well, it was closer. I think it was like a week or 2 weeks later. Like, not months. It was really close.
No, I stayed in New York for 2 months.
Are you sure?
For sure. Completely sure.
Okay, I went there.
'Cause I know
and
what-
then I stayed for, I think, a couple weeks.
Because I
before
spent
we
that
left.
much money at the off Soho Suites that is not a fancy hotel at all. It's this hotel that I've known these guys since I was 17 years old. And they gave me a good rate, but like I stayed for 2 months. So that's why I spent X amount of money. So it was 2 months. It was definitely 2 months. For sure for 2 months. It was for sure.
I think so.
And I don't think you stayed 2 weeks. I think you stayed like 8 days.
I don't remember. I just remember I came back, went to a friend's house. I had a Halloween party, and
Right.
then I had to work on, I had like a big job. And you called me as I was doing the job. So it was like, I think I was back for 2 weeks.
But we got
And
to
then went back.
we got to New York in early October for the store
And
opening.
you left like mid-November.
End of November.
And
Totally. I think so. I think it was that long.
close.
Because there's no way I wouldn't want to stay that long in New York. Like, I would definitely wanted to be there that amount of time. It wasn't like I was being sick of it. I was just
No.
spending too much money. Like, I miss New York every single day.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to live in New York again, but I don't want to fucking go.
Should move there.
Well, I don't want to go pay $3,500 for a place I used to pay $1,000 for in fucking 2009.
It'd be more. Yeah.
It's
It's so expensive.
It's fucking stupid. I want to live in a pool house.
You get like a shoebox.
But yeah. But how is New York? How you doing out there?
It's good.
You having a good time?
Yeah, it's great. You see funny stuff every day.
Of course you do.
Like, that's like the charm of New York. This is like you feel connected to the world, which is great. You walk out your door and you're in it, and you see funny things,
Of course.
and like that's the best.
Right. Right.
But then you see scary things. Like I don't really see a lot of violence, but I saw someone get jumped a couple weeks ago. At 1 a.m. I'm walking on the street. I have my shoe off. I'm taking a rock out, and I see all these guys just like jump on this one guy, like kicking him on the floor. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna like, go this way.
Right. Right.
But usually it's pretty chill.
Right. Right. No, it happens. You know, it happens. You know, it happens in a bunch of places throughout this country. But yeah, we'll be back with more reports from me and Blake on the road here in a minute. But let's get back to playing some music. And again, this episode, and not like fucking, I should treat these shows as like, I'm formulating a way of music that you're hearing as an artistic treatment to the levels of your serotonin. No, but when I do the show, I usually try to do it like a crescendo of like the beginning being like big and bold, and then I bring you down slowly, baby. But this show is like if you're in the car with your friend and you're going across country, you're just playing shit. You're just playing shit. It's a road trip, baby. Fucking road trip. Let's have some fun.
Don't worry. beside a bar of a sleeping town. There laid a sleeping man, he wore a frown. A stranger woke him, he looked around. Then he spoke, I wrote it down. He said, my climbing rope is broken, and I cannot stay away. Better fix it, son, no joking, for the Omega day is come. I went over to the stranger's side. I began to speak, but he read my mind. He said, you know me from long ago. Then he turned, I watched him go. I said, my climbing rope is broken, and I cannot stay away. Better fix it, son, no joking, for the Omega day is come.
All right. All right. So, as you heard, songs I'm playing are based on doing a road trip. Because I'm here with Blake. And Blake and I have been on a lot of road trips. So, about when did we leave for Astoria?
Astoria? Oh, I don't know.
So I was renting a house in Pasadena.
When did you move out? It was right after you moved out.
Well, I think maybe like talking about it. Well, it was September of 2022.
Maybe.
Yeah, because I spent New Year's in Paulsbo, and that was 2023.
Okay.
So, I like that Blake said maybe when I was totally right.
I don't know.
So, I was renting this house in Pasadena. It was a small house on a hill, and it wasn't like the epitome of opulence. It was nice.
Was it Pasadena?
Yeah, it was nice, but it was like I was paying too much for
Yeah.
renting, so I knew that.
It was the location.
Right, and it's nice. South Pasadena's nice, and like I've said,
Actually, no, it was weird. It
It was-
gray floors and shit.
it was totally-
made no sense for you to live there.
it
at all.
was weird.
When
But then
I saw that place.
the shoebox back cabin built on the house
Yeah,
that sold me.
that was cool.
That was
I
totally
didn't see
cool.
it that many times.
You've seen it though,
I've seen it. I saw it at the beginning,
right?
and then there's this long time
Right.
where that was almost like the no-go zone. Like
Oh, there was
I
no
did-
no-go zone.
or I just like we never went back there. We'd hang out in the living room where like
Right.
they're like gray like vinyl flooring
Yeah,
or
but to me it was I found this place to live like 2-3 months before said pandemic and whatnot, and it actually ended up being a really good place for me to live because then I could walk the short 2 miles to the
the Royal.
the arroyo, which is the big wooded area that I've talked about on here plenty of times, where I see coyotes and whatnot, and that place became like a holy center to me. And again, that's the place where Jack Parsons, the dude that made JPL and the which is the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and he basically invented jet propulsion. Without Jack Parsons, there'd be no fucking NASA, and there'd be none of that. And Jack Parsons used to set off rockets in the Arroyo and with his friends, and then he became friends with Aleister Crowley, and then he had parties and orgies on Orange Grove in his mansion, and then comes along fucking this guy L. Ron Hubbard. We all know what he invented, so. L. Ron Hubbard comes along and he starts hanging out with Aleister Crowley. He starts hanging out with Jack Parsons in Pasadena, which is a stone's throw from my old house in Pasadena. And then Jack Parsons and Aleister Crowley, they say to L. Ron Hubbard, "We bet you can't invent a religion." And he goes, "Oh, well, I'll take that bet." So L. Ron Hubbard steals Jack Parsons' wife, but Jack Parsons doesn't care because he's like doing drugs and having orgies, so he doesn't give a shit. So L. Ron Hubbard takes Jack Parsons' wife. He goes on to make Scientology because Aleister Crowley and Jack Parsons bet him that he could make a religion, and he went and did it. And then Jack Parsons got kicked out of the JPL, and even though he invented the shit, but he was being so crazy, and he ended up doing explosions for like Hollywood films, and this is in the fucking 40s, and then Jack Parsons accidentally blew himself up in that house on Orange Grove Boulevard, because Orange Grove Boulevard used to be called Millionaires Row, and so anyways, that's that about that. A little history lesson about South Pasadena, brought to you by Jason Dill, funded by Manscaped and GoFundMe. So I decided to get rid of all my positions, all my positions.
Yeah.
I got rid of all my possessions. I did. I sent all my clothes to the Pine Ridge Reservation, to the Lakota Sioux tribe, and I just got. And it's not like I had a lot of shit. Like, and I'm not fishing, but I'm a bit of a minimalist. Like, I don't like a lot of stuff. Like, I like nice shoes, I like wine, I like stay at nice hotels.
Read books.
I like books, but I don't like to keep books.
No.
I like
I
experiencing
had
books.
tons of books from you.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I said, hey, Blake, I want to move out of Pasadena. And there's this really weird little town on the very northern tip of Oregon before, northwestern tip before
Seattle.
Washington on the Columbia River. And Blake said, tell me more. I'm intrigued. I said, well, it's the place that they filmed the movie Goonies. And you were
Best
like,
movie.
what the fuck? And I
Yeah.
said, this place is so... And I'd gone there a few times before. And because I was doing my work with the great people at Adidas. And that they're in Portland. So I would go to Astoria and kind of just geek out and go around there. And Astoria is like maybe 10,000 people live there. And it's a strange place. And I know I wasn't like overbuilding the hype like on the way there.
No.
Because I knew when you got there, it'd be like, yeah, this is fucking...
That was great.
It's so weird.
Uh-huh.
But in my head, I thought, I'm going to buy a house in Astoria. I'm going to live there. And then as far as my work with the company and whatnot, well, fuck, I could just go to Portland, that's 2 hours away, and fly from there and fly to L.A. and New York and do my job. And so Blake and I went up to Portland, and we stayed in, like, really strange motels.
Yeah, around
Because
the coast.
there's only one fancy hotel. There's two fancy hotels, but I was 86th from the one
Oh, the
hotel.
one in Astoria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was at 86 from
Exactly.
Elliott because I smoked weed in there years before. Me and Blake's trip, so they 86 me, and I gotta say I know this sounds like a dick move, but they knocked on my door that night. I was talking to my mom and I was smoking a joint on the window. And they said, are you smoking weed in here? And I said, apparently I am. And they said, you have to leave. And I said, no, I'll stop smoking for the night, but whatever. And like, okay, fine me. Like, there was a sign that said $200 fine for smoking or smoking weed. So I took that as a warning, not as a execution of dismissal. like, let me, okay, I broke the rules. I saw the sign. It didn't say you have to leave. It said we'll charge you $250.
It was just a fee to smoke.
Yeah, and so,
You know?
and of course that was lame, and I don't even smoke weed anymore, but whatever. And I got in a little argument with the woman, and I said, look, turns out, and I went outside to smoke weed. And I took my bottle of wine outside, and I went outside and smoked weed and drank my bottle of wine. So she came out, and she was like, hey, sorry I was so, like, abrupt with you. I said, no, I was a dick. Like, I'm smoking weed. This hotel's like 100 years old. Like, I'm sorry. And she's like, my name's Brenda, da-da-da. And I'm sorry I was so, like, da-da-da. I said, no, it's fine. I go, do you smoke weed? She goes, yes. I go, hold on. I went upstairs, and I gave her, like, because I was going to the dispensaries.
Uh-huh.
And so I gave her like a fully loaded, like, nice $100 worth of weed. And she's like, you're cool here, but tomorrow the manager's definitely going to want to talk to you. I said, that's fine, well, I'm checking out. So I woke up the next day, and I'm checking out, and the woman at the desk, who's a different woman, she says, the manager would like to speak to you. And it was this super square, like, white guy, looked like he's straight out of Twin Peaks, like, such a fucking weirdo. He's like, Mr. Dill, we don't appreciate what you've done. We don't appreciate your actions, and you can't come back here. And I said, this hotel's been here for over 100 years, right? He said, well, yes, that's correct. I go, well, I like to think that I'm on a long list of pretty cool people who aren't allowed here anymore, so that's great, thank you. And how corny is that? That's totally corny. But in the moment, I was like, yeah, in your
It was
face.
enough.
But that's how I met Chris, the cab driver,
Yeah.
that got in the motorcycle accident in the mid '80s, and he was in a coma for 2 years, and he drove me back to Portland from Astoria, and he told me his life story. And so this man, Chris, who was a taxi driver for only 3 days, and the in Astoria, I saw him at my window. So the day before, I went down and talked to him, and I was like, hey, would you want to go to Portland tomorrow? Because there's no Uber in Astoria. There's none of that. It's a small town. And Chris is like, totally, I'll take you. But he was kind of abrupt and whatever. And I remember when I got after being told I'm 86 from the Elliott Hotel, I got in the car and I was kind of like, oh man, like, these guys don't like me. And then Chris was like really abrupt. And he's a big white guy with like scars in the back of his head, and like his face looks like it had been stabbed by like a million tiny daggers. Like the guy had just lived a life. And so at first I thought, oh, this guy fucking hates me. And so we're driving along and we're talking, and I'm just one seat back from him in his minivan of the taxi company. And we start talking, and Chris tells me how he got in a motorcycle accident outside of San Diego, and he hit his head on a rock, and he was in a coma for 2 years. And he could hear everyone that came in the room, and his best friend took his girlfriend, so they came to visit him, and he heard like all their conversations, and then they drained his bank account, and then his mother stopped coming, and then Chris was desolate, so Chris left San Diego after waking up from the coma, and he drove to Astoria to kill himself. Mm-hmm. And so he had his like Chevy or whatever, and he parked it on the bank of the Columbia River, and he made a tube and sealed the windows with duct tape, and the hose went from the muffler into his car, and he drank like a giant bottle of plastic vodka. And he must have fucking, in his stupor, he must have hit neutral, and he woke up and his legs were all wet and everything because it went into the river. Cool. And so then he was like, fuck. And then he was homeless by that Burger King. Mm-hmm. And he was telling me about that. And I said, well, what'd you do? He's like, well, I kind of just was homeless, and I ate out of the trash and did this and this and this. And I did it for many years, like up into about like 3 years ago, and I checked myself up into, so Astoria is like the base of Astoria. The town is at the bottom of this giant kind of not mountain but hill, and he said I just kind of just lingered around and did my thing, and I finally checked myself into this rehabilitation center, and I said, is it this? And remember I took the photo outside of the rehab place the day before?
Yeah,
and I showed him. He's like, that's the place. And you have to hike way up the hill to get to that place. But there was like a little teddy bear next to an ashtray, and I was like, oh, I bet this is a rehab. Like, it looks like a rehab. But anyhow, Chris told me that when he was in the coma in the hospital, that he heard everybody saying everything, and that he would float around through black space. And so he was moving through black space in his brain. And one day he could see the light of a door, like just the light coming through the top and the sides of a door, like super thin light. And he's in this coma. And he said he went to the door opened, the Bible came to him, and all the pages flipped. All the pages flipped. And he said, then I knew the whole Bible. Now, I really like this man. This 2-hour drive with this man was incredible. He told me fucking insane stories. Like, the first thing that happened to him when he was a little kid, he was being babysit by this 12-year-old who had a sister who was only about 5 years old, and Chris was about 7, and this was on the outskirts of San Diego, and they lived in a cul-de-sac. And so everything was kind of hunky-dory, like all the neighbors looked out for each other. And so the 12-year-old got distracted. Chris is only 7, and they wandered into a neighbor's backyard, and there was a pool. And Chris said, I learned this trick when I was a kid, where you take a beach ball, and you spin it like an underspin into the pool, and then it comes back to you. So the little girl was watching him do it, and then he did it again, and she went into the water, and he couldn't swim. So he said he watched her drown. He just watched her drown and had no way to help her. And that was so fucking gnarly. I was just like, God damn, Chris. And he said that was the first thing that happened to me that was so traumatic that, you know, I felt blamed by my parents, blamed by people, but I couldn't swim. I couldn't help her. So, yeah, that taxi ride with Chris was 5 years before you and I went on the trip up there. And I sent Chris some postcards. I sent him some postcards to that rehab spot, and he'd only been driving a taxi for his van for about 3 days before we did our ride to Portland. And he was so cool. He was so cool. Actually, no, he didn't drive me to Portland. He drove me down to fucking he drove me down to that's when I did my sabbatical, all the way down to SF.
Was that the one? Was it after that you walked?
Yes.
Was it like your big walk?
And I told that story recently on the
Yeah.
show when I walked to
Yeah, like the big walkie. Like,
yeah,
Yeah, like no
Pigeon
shoes or
Point Lighthouse. But that's the beginning of that.
Yeah.
So Chris dropped me off in Lincoln City, which is on the coast. So it was in the middle of a psycho 3-day rainstorm. Chris drops me off, and I'm in this motel in Lincoln City, like the Something Sands Motel. And it was beautiful. I had the third floor looking out the ocean, just winds and gray and psycho and the ocean, the waves. It was so epic, and I was smoking tons of weed and having a good time by myself. And I quit Vans. I quit Vans from that room. I called them and quit. I forgot about that. And they were like, wait, hold on. Let's figure this out. And I was like, no, nothing wrong with Vans. I just want to work for Adidas. Man, that was crazy. So,
But then, was that the time later where your nephew picked you up?
yeah, after
the
the
wheel
big
fell
walk.
off the car?
Yeah, and then I ended up in San Simeon,
Yeah.
and
Which we've taken a trip to.
there's no later,
Uh-huh.
and there's no Uber in San Simeon. There's no taxis. There's no nothing. So if you're in San Simeon and you don't drive, like, you're fucked. There's no way to get to the bus. There's no way to get to anything. And so I told my nephew, who can always use money, I said, I'll give you $500. Drive 5 hours from LA to this place, San Simeon, pick me up, take me back to LA. You can stay the night, get your own room, whatever. I said, but do not pick me up if your car's a mess and if your car is sketchy. He's like, oh, it's fine, I'm totally fine. Fucking picks me up. I mean, he comes the night before, got his own room, we stay up talking, whatever, what sunset, da-da-da. San Simeon's beautiful. And it's 5 hours north of LA. Then the next day at 8 a.m., get up, get in his car, get on to the 101, and we drive maybe 8 minutes, and the left tire flies off. And I said, stay calm, just keep slowly turning the wheel to the right. And what do I know? I don't even fucking drive. I just thought, stay calm, slowly, and we perfectly landed in between the freeway and the freeway entrance. Perfectly. And then we walked into this town that has the sickest name. It sounds like a weird band's name. I forget. It's such a good name. But anywho,
Los Osos?
what?
Los Osos?
No, that's good too, but it was called
Oh.
like Wild Cuff or I forget. But anywho, to bring this back to what we're talking about. So young Blake here has driven me many places, and we've gone on many trips and had many adventures. And no, I didn't end up buying a house in Astoria. I looked at houses for sale that were epic, like really cool, strange houses that were built in like 1898 and whatnot. But I decided if I'm going to post up in Astoria, I'll probably turn like a Stephen King novel. I'll end up like killing someone. The place is haunted. The place is fucking haunted.
Yeah, for sure.
But the restaurant is so epic.
That nice one we went to?
Yeah, what's that one
And
called?
you talked to that dude about real estate the whole time.
Yeah, the guy that ended up
The
being a
waiter
skater.
came over and
Yeah,
like-
and he's like, hey, he wants to talk to you, and
Yeah.
da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Carruthers.
Uh-huh.
Carruthers restaurant. It's been there for 100 years. But, yeah, I ended up talking to this dude about maybe buying a place up there and whatnot. I don't know what I was thinking. Fucking, I don't know. I just wanted to get out of L.A., and I didn't know what I wanted to do and whatnot. And so there I was. And so Blake went home from that trip, and And I ended up going on my big sabbatical up to Portland and all over Oregon, all over Seattle, and Washington and Bainbridge Island and whatnot. And then I was in Korea and Japan and whatnot. But so we've gone from Los Angeles to New York back to Los Angeles, and each of these trips being broken up into large sections of time, like taking over 2 weeks to go back and forth because to make it fun, make it enjoyable, no rush. And we've gone up to Astoria, we've gone to San Simeon, we've gone from Atlanta to Colorado.
I think that's it.
A
lot of miles in
a lot of miles in LA. And let me ask you, what's it like being on the road with me?
Oh, it's fun.
I'm
The
not
first
fishing.
trip-
I'm not fishing.
No,
I'm
okay,
asking
so
for your
right,
honest opinion.
This is the first trip.
What's the
really good. They're all good.
To New York.
To New York was great because you had been cooped up in COVID,
Right.
not drinking, and that was like
Right.
you re-entering the world.
Right.
And so that one, the fanciest hotels,
Right.
fine dining, Googled on the phone, and it was like all great. And as the trips trail on, I became a cheaper date, and it becomes, Blake, we're going to this fish house. I think they'll have some pasta for you. And I'm like,
It
"Fuck."
matters where we are in the country.
And I thought it was funny. I'm like, damn, I became a cheap date.
I don't think so. I think it matters where we were in the country. Like
It doesn't matter.
if we were in if we were in Peoria, Illinois, like we ended up at that staying at that
there?
casino.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But it was like that was like the fanciest thing available.
No, that was no. I'm saying future trips, because that was the first trip.
Right. But then on the way back from New York wasn't fancy.
That was fancy.
That was fancy
That
too.
was fancy too.
But then
But it was after that. And you're like, whoa. That was an expensive trip.
But totally. But then if we did trips where it's like, well, this trip's motels,
Yeah. Then we started
it's a
going
little
hotels.
different. And I'm
The
like, yeah,
Leicester
let's go get a fish sandwich.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like
It was good. It was
it's not
all
like
good.
it's not like I'm eating a filet mignon and I'm like, hey Blake, have some chicken nuggets. Like I'm eating what you're eating.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but no, I get it.
We
But then also it's like,
But it was great. All of them great, nonetheless.
right.
I'd do it on vending machine food. I'm down. It's cool. It's fine. What is it, like corn? What are those called?
I don't know, corn cakes, but
Pops.
but,
I fucking hate those things.
but there was just different there were different aspects to some of the trips where when we were doing it, like if we ended up in what was that little town south of like we went through Napa, which is fancy. But then we
Yeah,
got a
yeah.
motel in Napa.
that
But
motel was pretty cool. That
but that
was
was
when we listened
cool.
to the Beatles.
And we saw the deer and shit
Yeah.
right when we checked in.
Yeah, we had like those individual
And we
bungalows.
ordered pizza.
Yeah, and we ordered pizza.
Right.
And then you bought me this like tall boy. And it was like the most fucked up, like crazy IPA, like black can tall boy. And you're like, yeah, I think you'd like this. It's off of, like how gnarly the label was.
But then also too, it's like
That
it can't
was
all
funny.
it can't all be fancy. Like I
That was
wanted us
good.
to have some because that's why Astoria was like kind of grimy,
A little bit. That story was cool.
but it was cool because it
I
was
liked it.
grimy.
I took some really nice walks in this story, and the sun was going down.
Right.
Remember we went to Cape Disappointment? We went across the bridge. to
Dude, Cape Disappointment.
It
So
was the best name.
so when you're in Astoria, you're looking across the Columbia River, and you're at the northernmost western tip of Oregon, and you're looking across to Washington, and just what was that, like a 20-minute drive? We go over the
Over the bridge.
oh, what's the big bridge called?
I don't know.
totally
That bridge
forgot.
is so sick.
It's
It's
old,
huge.
it's from they built it in the 50s. So anywho, so you go across this long bridge, and then you're in Washington, and you go up the coast a little bit, and you get to Cape Disappointment, and you go to Dead Man's Cove.
Is
And
that
that
what it's
little
called?
cove that we were in on that one warm day, that like everything else was like cloudy and rainy,
Mm-hmm.
and that one warm day we went there was fucking incredible. It looks like Hawaii, but with like trees from from
Was it
Washington.
Dead Man's Cove where there was the big rock? We like walked on the rock.
Duh.
That was.
Remember?
Yeah, I remember that part. This
was
is within
so
Cape
good.
Disappointment.
It was
Yeah.
so sick. And only
That was
like two
great.
people showed
and then
up.
the lighthouse. Like you go to the lighthouse, but it's just like this like dinky little lighthouse.
But the lighthouse was from like 1820.
I wish we could go in it. You can go in it.
Mm-mm.
So that place is great. This is the best name.
But yeah, Cape Disappointment.
I mean, who came?
Well, Cape Disappointment was when the British came through, and then they so the Spanish had come through and said to the British, like, no, you don't understand, like, it's the most fucked place.
It's pretty.
And then the British was like, well, we'll check it out ourselves. And they were like, oh my God, we almost got capsized and it's totally fucked, and our boats hit the rocks. Like, this is Cape Disappointment. It's totally fucked. But
Dead Man's Cove is there.
it's the prettiest place.
It's fucking depressing.
No,
No,
I'm
it's
gonna.
really great.
It's so epic.
I
Like,
would recommend it.
it's so beautiful.
If anyone goes, I meet a lot of people in New York who are from Portland or like that kind of zone. I say, do you go to Astoria? They're like, yeah, I went there when I was like a kid. I'm like, have you ever been to Cape Disappointment? And usually they don't know.
Oh,
Sometimes
crazy.
they do.
So it's cutting.
It's right there. It's just like Astoria is already the reach spot,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like that's like one step for people go to Cannon Beach, right? It's just called Cannon Beach.
Well, that's south, yeah.
a little, but that's like the reach because that's the.
Well, it's
Goonies
like
beach.
fancy.
Yeah.
And that's the beach where the Goonies come out and they see the ship and
Yeah,
everything and
yeah,
like all that.
the rocks line up in the medallion.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to all me and Blake's tales of traveling and whatnot. And apparently, at times I didn't treat Blake like the gentle prince he needed to be treated. It was fun though. We had a great time. I miss it. I miss being on the road. Sometimes I want to call you and be like, "Fuck it, we're going to Mexico, and we're gonna drive all the way to San Salvador."
We just have to like tuck a little money in. For
Got to know the right
break.
people.
Yeah.
Pick up those Sandinistas, and we'll be on our way. And I bet there's a lot of good used bookstores down there.
Oh, for sure.
We could figure it out. But here, I'll play some more music for you, and we will continue with the FA radio show from East Los Angeles.
Holy are you, holy are you. There is no God but you. There is no God but you. Praise be the Lord. Holy are you. Holy are you. There is no God but you. There is no God but you. Praise
show, we'll laugh again. And we will know to love again. You know how fine a place for me. We'll live together celestially, hunters of I'm gonna find me a place of mine. You got to show me that you hunters of heaven.
All right. All right. Not our usual mix of music, but I'm enjoying it. And I'm also enjoying the aspect of the mindset of listening to this that you might be on a fucking road trip. You know what I'm saying? It's nice. Watching the mountains go by, seeing coyotes, being in strange parts of Ohio, which we were, Blake. Strange parts of Ohio. Yeah, man. Beep, beep. You hear that? Beep, beep. One thing you said to me, Blake, that was so nice. I remember when we were driving back from New York, after driving to New York and then driving back from New York, we got stuck in that psycho traffic jam in Nevada before Vegas.
Yeah.
That was like 3 hours of just sitting there. Just you and me just sitting in traffic, and we weren't complaining.
I think we were listening to, what's the show you like?
Tim Heidecker's
Yeah.
Office Hours. It's the only podcast I listen to.
Uh-huh.
But we were sitting there, and then, you know, it started to flow back into actually people driving again, and it was just one of those things where there's nothing we could do. We're in the middle of the desert, and, you know, we had snacks and whatnot, and cigarettes and water and whatever, and I started playing music again, and you said, man, I've gone from LA to New York with you, and now New York all the way back, and I don't think you repeated one song. And I was like, man, that's such a good compliment. Thank you,
Yeah,
Blake.
you
I
did.
so
Yeah.
appreciate that, because it's important to me. Like, you're the pilot, I'm the autopilot, and so with me, I'm not even the autopilot. I'm the
Co-pilot.
co-pilot, and just playing the songs as we go, and it is what it is. And there's also trips we went on where I was like, no music, because I just wanted the sound of nothing.
Yeah, there'd be...
But I
There'd
did.
be like a 4-hour drive where there's no talking, crack of a window, and then light cigarette, untwist the cap from the bottle, ash, and it's just back and forth, put it out, twist the bottle, just more silence.
But there was just like,
But it was cool.
but I think that was my, you know, not like saving face or whatever. That's me being very comfortable with you.
Yeah.
Where I know you very well, and you know me very well.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just was like, fuck it, no music. Like, let's just experience like all of what's happening outside of us and like do that.
I thought it was funny.
But yeah,
Just hours.
right. Right. But yeah, so many fucking different things that we saw and did and experienced were so cool. And I remember we got to that hotel in St. Louis, and I remember this just making you fucking giggle. And it was still like a time where you had to wear masks and shit when you checked in, which is totally fine. I don't give a shit. And or maybe we weren't wearing masks. I can't remember.
I don't know. It always varied.
But
like
it
every place was
every
different.
place was different, yeah,
Yeah.
according to red and blue states. But we were outside of St. Louis, and we went to some, Hampton Inn, and we were checking in, and it was a very insecure, strangely shaped man,
Mhm.
and he looked like an extra from The Simpsons. And I said, "Hello, sir," and I read his name badge. I said, "Stanley, how are you?" And he was like, what can I help you with?" I said, "Well, we'd like to get 2 rooms for myself and my associate." And he said, "Well, what kind of rooms are you looking for?" I said, "Like a room with a bed and a toilet." Just joking with the guy, and Blake was like, bah, like just laughing
that.
behind me. And we were trying to make fun of the guy, but he was just so. You experience this when you go across country. Like, we'll get to places like how many times that.
But they don't like your passport. They think it's not real ID.
Oh my God, the woman in Colorado
That always
at
happen?
the place way up in the mountains. That was all right. So let's touch upon that. So Blake and I think it's outside of Denver, quite a bit, like 35 minutes, and I found this place on the map where it's a hotel, it's like a lodge hotel.
Yeah.
And I saw on the thing, like, be careful, bears and mountain lions will come in the parking lot. And I said, "Blake, we need to go to this place. It sounds great. I want to see bears and mountain lions." And so we go to this place, like Green Valley, Colorado. And remember how beautiful it was?
Yeah, it was great.
Fucking stunning. It was so beautiful. And it was warm down the valley. Remember, it was like really warm in the valley, like during the daytime.
But when you would go down where there's that lake,
Right.
remember you go over the hill down, there's the lake and all that. But we were on top of the hill.
And remember that night, it got down to like fucking like.
Yeah, it gets super cold.
It was so warm that day. And it got down to like 22 degrees that night, and we were
Yeah.
sitting there freezing outside. But when I first checked into this place, and I've checked into hotels from fucking Johannesburg to fucking London to Paris to whatnot. I have a passport. I don't drive a car. So this fucking ignorant kook woman, say her name's Jenny. So we're trying to get our accommodations here at this lodge resort in Colorado, and she immediately just looks at me and Blake like we're gay or whatever, and it's just like, bitch, come on. And I give her my passport, and she goes, and I'm looking at the ephemera. We're looking at like the stuffed like deer heads and
Oh, yeah,
shit.
there's
Like
all
we're
that.
just I'm not rushing her. Like, take your time, Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
And Blake, how cordial am I?
They're very cordial.
Like, I'm so nice. And like, how many times that we go to hotels where like I end up sparking great conversations with the people, and like we're cool and shit.
Yeah.
But when someone throws up a roadblock, I have to react.
She didn't like it.
And so I give my passport, and she goes, "Do you know your passport's expired?" And she says it all loud because we're walking around the lobby.
Was it expired?
No.
No, I thought she said this isn't like valid ID.
No,
And you're like,
she.
this is a federal document.
Well, of course.
Like,
But she
That
she
was the deal.
said she was a bit snippy about that being my only ID at first, and I
Yeah.
said, "Ma'am, this is much more difficult to get than a driver's license. Like, this is a passport. Like, it's through
Yeah.
the federal government, as it is state by state, the other part of ID, but whatever." So she was a bit snippy about that, and she was just a kook. She was a kook, and she goes. It was like she wanted to get something on us. She goes, "Do you know this is? Do you know that this passport's What is it? What was it?
Did you say expired?
Yeah. Do you know this passport's expired? And I said immediately, no, it's not. And I walked over to her, and she's like, it's expired. Look at this. And I said, that date
Was that the issue?
is 2027. And then she was like, okay. Yeah. And it wasn't cheap rooms. That place was
a
nice.
place.
Place was nice, and then apparently we could get mauled by a bear or a mountain lion in the parking lot.
But we also cleaned the car in the parking lot there. Remember
absolutely, because
That was-
we smoked in every car we've ever rented.
that? Yeah, so every trip, we get a car. Just there's a smoking fee, and then at the end we would just clean.
No, we would
like
we would assault
inside of the whole
we would
car.
assault the car with Windex and every kind of like de-smoke neutralizer, and we would just hit it so hard, and we never got hit with a fee.
I don't think we ever got hit with.
Remember
the
those
fee.
two brothers like in Missouri were like, man, you guys driving a rental car and smoking in there?
Yeah, people always trip on it. But like, it wasn't just smoking in there. It was like smoking in there with the window cracked like an inch, with a water with like a Pellegrino bottle, or just like stuffed.
Or like when we left the first trip, I had this like protein shake my mom gave me.
No, I
We just
remember.
stuffed
Yeah,
the whole
I
thing.
remember. But yeah, and then what state do you think we got pulled over by the cop?
I think it was Oklahoma.
So we're in Oklahoma, and
Because we were going to, I think when we were going to Quantum Parker's house, or we just crossed the like.
right. I want to play more
State
songs
lines.
and then talk. I want to play a couple more songs and then talk about the Quantum Parker house. But Blake and I are an older white guy with a very good-looking young white man, which everyone thought we were gay.
Driving a red rental car.
Driving a red like
mid-sized
yeah.
SUV.
and and this cop pulls us over, and he just assumes that Blake's like my bitch boy, and
He thought we were smuggling drugs.
he thought we were smuggling drugs, and he took Blake back to his car and kept him in there for a while and questioned him, and then he kept Blake in the back of the car. Then he came up to my window, and I knew nothing was wrong because I have nothing on me, whatever. And so I said, no, like, he's my assistant, and we're driving across the country, and I'm opening a store in New York, and da-da-da-da. And he caught on quickly that we weren't the drug smugglers that he thought we were. But let's hold that thought, and let's play some weird shit. Fuck it. Let's play some weird fucking shit.
Here, in this world, where you and myself belong, the good will exist, but the bad will die.
to find a better day. So near, so clear, so far away. Come and help me find peace of mind. A patch of blue, a cloud above, a sky, oh my, how high am I? Why am I so high? Could I be I've never seen this place before. I've opened up the screens and
I like this song.
and I'll never be a prisoner
No, you gotta-
anymore.
You gotta dip into your spiritual realm, bro. When's the last time you checked into your spiritual gutter and your soul, man?
Be another war.
Man. Never be another. You gotta dip into that spirituality, man. Oh, I know you went and did your ayahuasca trip. I know. You had the shaman there. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. I'm on my way. US 69. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But yeah, how about that? Oh, whoa, bro. Back up. Take it easy. But yes, we are still here. And if you're still here, that means you're still here. Think about that shit. It's fucking deep. So, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding! Just back to the top of the show. So, Blake, we were driving back from Atlanta, and we were heading west, and
The southern route.
yeah, the southern route of driving back. And I always told you, like, I don't want to go south. Like, I think you'll see, like, driving south, because you were like, let's go to New Orleans and whatnot. And I was totally like, yeah, I get it, but I think you'll have a different experience if we go through the south, because the south is the south, and I'm not sure. So when we did New York, LA to New York, and New York back to LA, we just did the Route 70 pretty much the whole way, and then dipped down. And so when we were in Atlanta and we drove from Atlanta to Colorado, once we got into Oklahoma, I told you the story how this in the 1800s, the late 1800s, a little girl at the age of 6 years old named Cynthia Ann Parker, little blonde girl, got kidnapped in Oklahoma by the Comanche tribe, and they brought her into the tribe and raised her as Comanche, and she ended up having a husband and fully speaking Comanche and fully integrated, and they would dye her hair black and make sure that she looked native, and she ended up having 2 children, and her eldest child ended up being the famous Quanah Parker. And Quanah Parker is this giant, tall, amazing man, a Comanche man who you would never know he was mixed. Like, you would never know. He's just a giant, huge, beautiful Native American of Comanche descent. And Quanah Parker ended up being the last warring tribal leader. So the Comanche would basically go all over middle America and just swallow up tribes, and they'd say, fuck it, what, you're Blackfoot, you're with us or you die. And so the Comanche ended up being like the last of the warring Indians fighting the quote-unquote settlers, and they were gnarly. They were super gnarly, and Quanah Parker was something to fucking behold. And he was friends with Geronimo, and so Quanah Parker was the only Native American chief that once the war stopped and so many tribes were just disseminated across America, that Quanah Parker got respect from the American government. And they said, fuck it, all right, we have this base and you can build a house there. And so Quanah Parker built the Star House. This is an amazing house, and into his old age, he had did we pick all that up?
Yeah, just one side, but I can fix it.
Okay. But so he had like 8 wives. He was doing a great job. He's killing it and doing his thing, like, and that's totally accepted in Native American culture. And so this place, Cache, Oklahoma. So Blake and I are driving along, listening to music and whatever. And I said, Blake, man, let me tell you about this guy, Quanah Parker. And so we're driving along, and I'm telling him about Quanah Parker. And I said, Kim, do you mind if we go to this place, this tiny, tiny blip on the map, Cache, Oklahoma, and let's see if we can go to this guy's house, the Star House, this famous house where Theodore Roosevelt had dinner there, and Geronimo had dinner there, and he just held court, and he was this famous, and fucking what's his name, Wild Bill Hickok took him around the world, and they would do shows in England and shit about like cowboys and Indians, and he made money, and he was famous, and all this shit. And that he's one of the only people. Like, Geronimo got fucked. Geronimo got told that he had a deal, and then the Americans just killed him. But Quanah Parker was the only one that had a deal, and it worked for him. So his house in Cache, Oklahoma, I looked it up, and Blake and I went down to the Star House. And so you're on this small, tiny, tiny road with nothing around, and then we see the fucking thing. Go left here. There's a little old diner. There's this dilapidated neon sign. Maybe it's not even neon. It looked like it was from like...
Yeah, it was just an old parking lot.
And it said like rides, and like it was like treating Quanah Parker's house in the 50s as if it was like an attraction for white folks to come and like do like donkey rides and like something or whatever. And so we get there, and we don't know what to expect, but there's a fence, and you can't go in. to the.
It was like a bar.
Oh, the bar. Then what did we? I thought we climbed a fence. We only climbed the bar.
I think it was just it was a bar for cars.
Oh, so we never
And
climbed a fence.
It was
right.
like it was shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a road to get to his house.
So Quanah Parker's Star House, which if you look it up, it's pretty incredible. Now it's completely dilapidated because some asshole owns it, and it should be. It should be a historical landmark. So Blake and I, we didn't climb a fence. We only fucking went over this bar that blocked cars, and we walked this long dirt road.
Yeah.
This long dirt road with old cars from the 50s abandoned and
There's
refrigerators.
like a little lake and like cows.
That little lake with the cows.
But it was scary because it felt like we were going into like the Walking Dead like.
Well, we didn't know what white motherfucker would come out and be like, "Get off my land!" and like with a shotgun.
It was just so quiet and like tall grass.
It was
and
so
the old
quiet.
cars were like rusted. It was no man's land.
Totally.
Yeah. And then we went to the house. it
And
was
so we walked up
blast.
like the back way of the house. I thought we climbed the fence. I thought we
And I
climbed the
remember
fence.
there were train cars too, like right?
Right.
Weren't there like train cars? It was spooky. It was like a spooky zone.
Well, it was stuck in time.
Yeah.
And again, if you look up Quanah Parker's Star House, Quanah Parker, I believe, Star House. You'll see what the fuck we're talking about, and it's super interesting. And I'm happy that we went there. Then after we went there, I looked into it more, and it turned out that the original house was on that base, the military base that they let him stay in, which is kind of incredible to let a warring chief of the Comanche build a house on an American base. But they did. But then we found out that they moved the house 3 times. But I think he still lived there when they moved it the 3rd time. But I don't know, and I'm sure someone could correct me in further investigation. But the story of Quanah Parker is so incredible, and it's so epic, and like what a person. And me and Blake were just kind of just giddy that we were there, and just like we were in the zone, like we were so close to where this man walked and did his thing. Like it was incredible. And it's a shame that the Quanah Parker Star House was bought by some fucking doofus, and he doesn't take care of it, and now it's so dilapidated you can't even like go inside of it and whatnot. But yeah, what a shame. But shit happens, and here we are in the modern world. Here we are. But man, I tell you, Blake, it's been nice having you here.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good being here.
And thank you for the hundreds and hundreds of miles we've driven across this country.
Yeah, I talk to my friends sometimes, and I'll talk to them while we're driving, and I'll be like, I've spent more time with Dill than anybody. You know, if you think about it, like your friends you hang out with, you're like, oh, we've spent like some days. I'm like,
Right.
we've had like consecutive weeks.
Right.
And I'll go with you to a hotel, and you'll just be like, I look at this guy like 12 hours a day.
I'm sorry.
I tell.
No, and that brings me to this. Like, I remember one time we stopped off. I got real nervous pulling into New Jersey on our way to the store opening because I'm nervous. Like, I saw all the ins and outs of the store being designed, and I worked with a super great architect on this store, which wasn't the case for the Hollywood store. Which I was just winging it, but God, I forgot her name. What is her name again?
I don't know.
That great woman from New Zealand. But I'm sorry. But I was nervous. Like, we're opening a new store in New York and whatnot, but I was excited and nervous and whatnot. And so once we started getting it, I remember I kept pausing and being like, let's just stop in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was trying to, like, buy myself time to, like, get over how nervous I was and whatever. And we were somewhere in New Jersey, and we stopped, and it was our first meal of the day, so we went to a Starbucks.
Yeah,
And,
we eat a lot of Starbucks.
Well, 'cause it's
That
convenient.
was like the daily.
It's right there.
Yeah, it was
You
good.
know what I mean? And that's when I was still eating like turkey. So I'd get the turkey
Would you?
cheese egg thing. And I've still been off all the meat since I told you.
Really?
I've been off all the meat. I'm eating fish, but I'm off all the meat.
That's
But no, it's great. I weigh 188 pounds, which is crazy.
Is
I
that
can't
high or
believe
low?
it's high.
We're
But
gonna cut the fish.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's all eating the fish, but you know those aliens just have a bunch of plastic in them.
Go Hollywood. Go Zempic.
I'm not. No, I don't mind. I don't look funny. Like I just weigh. I just
learned
weigh
that.
188 pounds, and I'm like 5'9" or 10. But anywho, I remember this one morning where we stopped at a Starbucks, and Blake goes, "You eat your food really fast," and then Blake later accused me of going off on him. It was not
You
going.
did go off.
It's not
For
going off.
sure.
The fact that I said
You roasted me.
no,
You were like,
I said
I don't eat my food fast. You eat extremely slow. This, that, blah, 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 da, da, da. You said this earlier, and by the way, you're putting peanut butter on your biscuit. And then you're like, while smoking a cigarette,
That's
looking the
crazy.
other way.
I said this.
was-
I said this verbatim. I said, for a very intelligent person, you dwell in mundane subjects
No, you said
to an
you're-
into an intrinsic level that freaks me out as an intelligent person. Like you're dwelling into mundane things and dissecting them that doesn't make sense to me. And I said it just like that.
No, you said, for a smart person, you pay attention to a lot of stupid shit. That was what you said. You didn't say all those words. There was no 5-star words in that. It was just, you're a smart person, you paid attention to stupid shit. Like when I asked you if you could still grow a beard, and you're like, yeah, you don't lose hair on your face, you lose it on your head. I was like, I don't
He
know.
did. He asked
know.
me. He asked me because I'm an older person. He said, "Can you still grow a beard?" And I said, "Motherfucker, what?"
He doesn't have a big beard, and I'm like, well, like, does it? You know, I don't know how it goes. I've been there.
You do have like a childlike sense of wonder.
It's
But he's brilliant.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's-
mean?
that's
Like,
part of
yeah,
it.
you say
So
stupid
funny.
shit.
but no, it's so fun. And it's like, no, I didn't go off on you.
It was funny. I like that. I thought
I
it was
didn't go
really,
off on
It was
you.
good because it was like.
But later,
It's
when
like
you
lightning,
later when you
lightning,
brought it up,
but-
that like I went off on you. I'm like, dude, I would never go off on you. Like I only said that, and maybe I summarized it in now in this modern conversation as a more intelligent schematic way. But if I did say to you, man, for a really intelligent person, you really delve into some stupid ass
No,
fucking
delve,
shit.
for a smart person, you pay attention to a lot of stupid shit. It was like-
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be mean to you.
No, it
I'm
was
so
funny.
sorry.
It was funny.
But it's so weird for someone to be like, "Why do you eat your food so fast?" It's like we spend
Well, it's just
we
because
spend
I
like
eat
we
my
spend
food
12
fast.
hours a day together in a car all the time, and now you're gonna tell me about
no.
eating my food fast. It's like,
Well, they would
how about
go
you pay
on.
attention to something else?
It was go attend throughout the trip. I would bring it up because I eat fast, and I'm like, I eat pretty fast. I'm usually faster than most around me.
But then all of a
I
sudden,
noticed you were
all of
faster.
a sudden, I'm a pelican.
It's not. So you take it as an insult, but in my
It's not
mind,
an insult. It's an
there's-
aggravation.
There's like reverence.
It's
like, whoa,
it's a
you-
noted
Yeah.
thing in your mind that aggravates me.
Yeah, I can't help it. What do you want me to
But
say?
we never really had in
No
our
beefs.
in our trips. We never got in arguments
No beefs.
at all.
No.
No beefs, like no arguments
No
whatsoever.
arguments.
We had a good time. Like we were
Yes.
doing our thing,
Absolutely.
and that was the great thing about
We had a good system.
right. And
We had like the routine. It was very routine.
right, and then we had to make sure every time we checked into a hotel, and nothing that it's wrong with it, but we made sure, like, well, I made sure we're getting separate rooms. Like, I'm not his, like, sugar daddy.
Yeah, we had our own room.
But, yeah, no. And that was great about going on the trips with you, is that as we were going and listening to music and just existing and seeing the fucking mountains and the streams and all the stuff, and I know you appreciated it. Like that one time when I said, dude, we're really close to the that beautiful national forest in
Was it Allegheny?
Allegheny in
That was a great one.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I said we should go up there, and it
Of
was a
course.
bit out of the way,
That
but
was so cool.
instantly you were like, yep.
And we went to
totally.
Punxsutawney.
We went to Punxsutawney, where Punxsutawney Phil comes out.
Yeah. And we went to like the Punxsutawney Diner.
Oh yeah,
We
they
went to a
that was good
Punxsutawney
food.
skate park and looked at some.
Yeah,
good
we
skating.
looked at it. That park was crazy.
Yeah.
It looked like a DIY that was like extreme.
And then we went to. It was like Blairsville or something outside of there. Like, that was pretty cool.
But
Lots of graveyards.
Lots of graveyards.
The-
Lots
it's
of graveyards.
The most thing you'll see like driving is like gas stations, McDonald's, graveyards.
What was that one zone that neither of us will remember right now? But there was that one zone where we spent a day driving through this part of America. That was just like each house was 5 miles away from each other, and there's those winding roads, those hills. Was that Pennsylvania? It was beautiful, but remember it'd be like one house, 5 miles, another house, like. It was beautiful.
I don't
It
know,
was
there's
insane.
a lot of that.
But the one thing that
Oh, maybe it was it very like rural.
Yes,
but
totally.
there was a lot of like vegetation.
Yeah.
And did we pull off? I took a photo of that like weird like scientific looking sign.
Yeah.
It was Pennsylvania.
But that was the one thing about being on the road with you, where we have such a big age gap, and I mean essentially I'm old enough to be your dad, which is crazy.
If you were a young father.
I mean, not that young.
Yeah.
But wouldn't even need to be a teenager. But
I get 20-year-old.
well, actually, I would need to be a teenager. But I will tell you, it's like the one thing that was great about going on the road with you is that anything I brought up, from a museum to let's go, like apparently there's this fucking 4,000-year-old rock structure, like let's go see it. You were instantly like, yes,
down.
let's go see it. And I love that about
Well, we
that.
went to that one in Colorado. Where it was like carved into the mountainside.
The mesas.
Yeah, like it was something. Like
And then
that,
we
whatever.
went-
Then we went to Manitou.
And then we went with Chad to the Chad in Ohio, who used to be the alien worship team manager.
Yeah.
And we went to the big mounds
Yeah, we went to those mounds.
that were by whatever tribe is up there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
And we saw the like remnants of like a tornado site.
No, we went through that whole neighborhood.
Yeah, where they
That is still completely disbanded.
Mm-hmm.
That is a little bit south of Xenia, and we went through this whole neighborhood where all the houses got fucking toppled from a tornado about 2008. That was great. That was incredible. Not that it was great that it happened, but it was beautiful to see it.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was cool. That was fun to go see Chad and do that.
But we stayed in Dayton for a few days.
Yeah, because I want to see Carter and whatnot and whatever. But yeah, you stayed in Dayton for
Yeah, I
3
stayed in
days.
Dayton.
Not many people do that.
No.
Not many people do that. To me, myself, I love Ohio because of how ridiculous it is, and it's just weird, and all the little diners we went to and whatnot, and yeah. But Blake, I tell you, I had a good time on the road with you, and I want to get back on the road one day with you.
Sounds
we had
good.
a great time.
Yeah, of course.
We always had a good time. But yeah, well, we've given you a lot of a show tonight. We hope you enjoyed it. And we hope you enjoyed Blake and I talking about all our fucking travels. And what we did. What we saw. And I gotta tell you, whatever I'm gonna leave you with, music-wise, might be weird. Because I know these songs, but I don't remember what's going to work well for our exit. But let's give it a try. But hey, if you were here and you liked it and you enjoyed the whole episode, even if you dipped in for a little bit and now you're not even hearing this, now you're off to your date with Brenda going to see Dune 5. That's okay. You dipped in for a little bit. But for the people that are here the whole time, fuck yeah, thank you. We appreciate it. It was great to have Blake. Thanks to Engineer Sage. Thanks to Kyle. And we will see you next time. Thank you, folks.